This is the thing. This northern Fulani, Hausas, whatever they are called, will just unprovoked come out and push people into unnecessary anger. Uh, right now, let me read a chat by Waspapi on Twitter. This guy says it is difficult to find an Igbo millionaire or billionaire who isn't involved in rituals or drug business, as you can see on the screen. That is why their success doesn't move me in the lightest. Like, who fucking give a damn? Most of the millionaires from the north, Waspapi, most of them are into human trafficking. Yes, most of the billionaires and millionaires from the north are into human trafficking. They are the ones that will take people to Libya. They are the ones that take their fellow Hausa man. They take them to Libya. Some of them, they use their people as slaves, paying them slave wages. The millionaires ensure that their own fellow citizens do not enjoy or attain a developed education. They turn them to destitute so that they can pay them pennies. I mean, go to the north. You see them in a street that will be dilapidated. You never see the northern leaders doing anything possible to fix that road, right? You never see anything like that. You never see them build schools, build health centers for the large poor population in that vicinity. A perfect example is you looking at those senators. Look at that guy. They call him Hadi Sirika, that corrupt northern politician. You know, the most corrupt people in Nigeria are the northerners. If you add up the money that they alone have stolen, looted, okay, they go into the southeast, they go into the south-south, they come into the southwest, they loot the resources of the people, they don't do anything, right? They just wait. When it is time for you, the southerners, to harvest, they bring in their long fork and then they steal away your own resource. Look at what they do to the VAT generated from Lagos. The northerners who will claim that they don't want to drink alcohol. The northerners who will say that eating pig is against their religion. But when VAT taxes are generated on these commodities, they open their longer throat and they say they want to have a share in it. The hypocrisy. Okay, my second query to Waspapi is people like Dangote, Bua are only relevant, are only billionaires today because the federal government has given them an unfair advantage. Of course, Dangote has been doing business right from the days of the military era, so he enjoys such monopolies. He was able to gather money, he was able to buy all the major leaders in the government sectors, parastatals, and he's always finding it easy. Don't forget the conflict that happened between Dangote and this Igbo guy that does cement. I can't recall his name now. Right? I can't recall his name now. But we know how much Dangote influenced the government to push policies that outrightly destroyed the business of that Igbo guy. Right? Dangote knew how he was able to push through some PRs into the government right under the days of the military, into the days of Obasanjo, to kill that business. Yet, because of envy and jealousy, they come out, they say that they just open their mouth and say such terrible statement, a blanket statement that categorizes all Igbo men as ritualists and billionaires. And kidnappers and drug lords. What about the bandits, the Boko Harams, who of us today are stickily rich? What about the likes of Yaya Bello? What about the likes of Kwankoso? What about the likes of Yerima? What of the likes of... Yes, what about them? See, this hypocrisy of a thing whereby Northerners will have a log of wood in their eyes, but they will rather look away just to stoke enmity and animosity, just to instigate the people. They just always want to present themselves as the moral compass of the country. And these guys are the biggest thieves, the biggest looters. If we bring out the dossier of Nigerian politicians, we have had more Northerners, right? We have had more Northerners rule this country. We have always had more Northern governors, right? So, but even at that, the life of an ordinary Northerner cannot go shoulder to shoulder with a Southeasterner. You see, that Southeast that they claim that they get their money from drugs, from rituals, when they get their money, they use it for community development. They use such monies to assist the government in improving infrastructure. The likes of Obi Jackson, the likes of Bitcoin Chief, I mean, so many of them, the likes of Obi Kubana. We can see how they build the hospitals. Look at the likes of Ato Eze, who on an annual basis single-handedly gives his state governor nothing less than 5 billion. Take this money, use it for empowerment. This money can still build 1 or 2 bridges, right? So if you say those guys are getting their money from rituals and they are using it for community development, I think it is a blessing. Unlike you, Waspapi, you this nonsense Aboki boy, whose politicians and then your billionaires, they get the money, they take that money after extorting your poor fellow Northerners. They take their profits, they take it to Mecca. Go there, be developing one only land. They take it to Dubai to buy all flats, all manners of apartments. They go into Lebanon, buy gold. They go into Morocco, invest there. Instead of you, Waspapi, to do everything, call out your own billionaires who haven't robbed you, will rather take their profit outside the north. Yeah, take the money outside the north. In fact, they take it most times outside the Nigerian territory. There is something in the Igbo that they call Igbo Amaka. There's something they call in Igbo Akurulo. There's something they call in Igbo that Igbo first. When you make money, a portion of it must go back into communal development. You guys are no match for the Igbos. You guys are no match for the Igbos. In everything, in education, in business, in wealth building, this thing is an art. You see, when something is beyond you, you begin to call it magic. When initially the colonial masters came to Nigeria, but they got into the southwest, when they presented a gun, it was like a magic. The whites were seen to be God. The black people worshipped them, and it was so everywhere. Okay, so everybody wondered and bowed. It got to a point people started calling them names. The priests who were there, who didn't want to lose their influence above their people, started calling the white people devil, that they are devils sent from hell. So when you see a person like Waspapi wailing, crying crocodile tears, it's simple a loser who is pulling straws, because you can see that despite all their propaganda, all the provocative measures, everything that they align to frustrate the Igbo not to succeed, from 20 pounds, they are now counting billions of pounds. So it is unimaginable for them. It is unimaginable for the Abokis, the Hausas. You can see this is why at every slight thing, when there's a little conflict, what they do in the north is they just go and attack the business of an Igbo man. If any small thing happens, what the Hausa man does is they go there and attack the business of an Igbo man. I'll tell you what happened in Kano State in Taruni. There used to be this man. This was during the early 2000s down to 2007, 8, when pure water was extremely new, was an innovative, was still novel. So this Igbo guy saw the opportunity. He traveled all the way down from the east. He went to Kano State. He set up his pure water business. Having set it up, this story I'm telling you went viral. Having set this pure water company up, pure water, he started selling it. Started dealing with the likes of the big merchants in the Kano State, giving them on credit. He give them, maybe some of them would take 500 bags, 1,000 bags. Some of them take 200 bags, all on credit. So along the line, his pure water became a household name. Everybody always wanted to drink this man's pure water. Over the years, competitors arose, right? But people just wanted to always have his pure water because he ensured full hygiene. Don't forget that this period was when we had Dora Akunyili. So for him to have been able to get a pure water distilling company or factory simply means he adhered strictly to those stringent policies of Dora Akunyili. So the Kano people trusted his water. The competitors were not selling. All the competitors were all Kano State indigenous. Their pure water will not move. Whenever this man's pure water gets to a store, right, his bag will finish in less than 30 minutes. Other pure water will be there, but people will always be complaining. It has taste. It has this. It has that. You know what these people did? You know what they did? They took this man's case. They took it to their mosque. And in their mosque, some children were riled up. They were radicalized. And within 1 week, that man's factory was burnt down. All his branches across Kano State was burnt down. When that happened, the man had to say, enough is enough. Went back to Southeast, opened another factory, continued his business. Meanwhile, those guys who were now left behind, yes, they started making money. But this is how you see that the Northerners love to make their own millions. They are usurpers. They cannot compete. The Nigerian factor is shaped in a manner that it only favors the Northerners. In business, they will tell the Northerners, if the licensing fee is 100 million, they'll tell the Northerner to pay 50 million. A Southerner should go and look for the 100 million. It doesn't matter. They don't give it there. When you go to education, you will see that in education, if a Southerner wants to study medicine and surgery, they'll tell him your JAMB scores, it will be around maybe 280 to 290 for you to gain an admission into a federal university. But when it is the turn of the Northerners, they will say the Northerner should score 205. Look at the wide margin. They create a platform, an unfair platform for the Northerners to succeed. They create an unfair platform for these Albokis, right, who are pretentious. They always claim that they are educationally bankrupt, that they are educationally disadvantaged. For over 64 years, why don't you have more schools? Why don't you have more polytechnics? You have had more leaders coming from your region. But instead of you to develop, you are what? You are disintegrating. Instead of you to progress, you are retrogressing as a region. When people are calling the Igbos scam, it should never come out from the mouth of a Northerner. It should never come out from the mouth of a dirty, stinking mouth of a Northerner. You can imagine the disparities. Look at what Emefiele said he did to Dangote. He said he sold dollar to Dangote at a highly subsidized rate. so that Dangote could build his refinery. Why? Okay, we have so many people who had built their modular refinery in Nigeria who are not from the north. Can we see how the Nigerian government has given those people a subsidized dollar? When dollar was being officially sold for 450 naira, Dangote was getting it for around 270. Almost 200 naira discount. And today, Dangote is the largest producer of PMS in Africa, right? Yes, he's a billionaire. We cannot take that away from him. But he is unfairly, he's getting so much privilege. An unfair privilege he enjoys from the Nigerian government. And when the Igbo man tries to compete, this is a man who will probably, out of so much resilience and grit, goes to China, have so much savings, or maybe a Yoruba man who wants to also go in there and compete with these Hausa people. They start calling them all manner of names. They start saying that the business they're doing is unethical, it is immoral. Yet, when monies are generated from such businesses, they are always the first person to appear on that day of sharing the money. Their voice becomes the loudest. They say that, let me have my share. Your share from a money generated from people eating pig, are you not ashamed? Your share from the money generated from people drinking alcohol, it is like you meeting the devil to give you a blessing. The hypocrisy of the North. The hypocrisy of the North, the agenda of the Fulanis has been exposed. Yes, we know that. This is why we are calling for a fully restructured or a fully redefined Nigeria. Because we cannot continue like this. We cannot continue like this. Thank you very much.
Bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno, Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno. Igbo bueno.